Welcome to Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests bring you insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for soul growth. Come journey with us through astrology's energetic cycles and get ready to understand your path in the cosmic roots of the stars.
Sue, it sounds like we lost your microphone there.
Oh, rats.
You're good now.
Oh, okay, I'm back again. Well, what a deal. It's not an eclipse, it's the summer solstice. This is Talk Cosmos. I'm Sue, and today is June 22nd. This is a portal. It's a time when the sun is at the highest zenith on the Tropic of Cancer, and it's hanging out there for 3 days as we get the rays in the upper hemisphere, the southern and the northern hemisphere, of course, as we're talking about. And the summer solstice is a seed point to share these vibrations for the whole summer. I know we've been waiting for it. It's only quarterly that we do this with our wonderful master astrologer, Linda Barry, that many of us follow, and increasingly, because, hey, just as a heads up for those folks that are tuning in, I'm going to be joining it, Cosmos Fractal. It's a new the first vibrational conference. We'll talk about it at the halftime. Okay, let's find out more. We're ready now a new topic. New Vibrations is the name. I know we've shifted from Good Vibrations, but the band was really great at that 50 years ago and all. And we're talking about new vibrations. Okay, we're ready.
Revealing fundamental core consciousness, manifesting through the lens of vibrational astrology frequencies for the season's energetic theme for the spring and fall equinox and the winter and summer solstice. This is the New Vibrations panel.
I'm Sue Rose Minahan, founder of Talk Cosmos since 2018. I'm an evolutionary astrologer, consultant, speaker, writer, vibrational astrology student, Dwarf Planet University graduate, Kepler Astrology Toastmasters Club charter member. I have a fine arts music degree plus a certificate in jazz. I'm an artist, musician, and certified color energy life coach. Especially, I love mythology and esoteric philosophies.
I'm Robert Pacitti, professional consulting astrologer and the visionary behind Deep Earth Astrology and the Deep Earth Astrology Tarot, a divination tool and teaching aid that integrates astrology, herbalism, and natural reverence. I specialize in vibrational and psychological techniques and infuse my practice with a deep connection to nature's spirituality. I'm currently the Grand Pendragon in the Ancient Order of Druids in America and the director of the Magus Gathering in Gore, Virginia.
And I'm Linda Barry. I hold a professional astrology certificate in vibrational astrology from the Avalon School of Astrology, as well as a Master of Science in Social Work and bachelor degrees in psychology, mathematics, and computer programming. I teach vibrational astrology courses in the School of the Astrology of Vibrational Energetics online. I created Frequency Finder and add-on to Cosmic Patterns, Sirius, and Kepler software. Frequency Finder provides an in-depth astrological analysis of your astrology chart. As a vibrational astrology researcher, I moderate a vibrational astrology research group, am an international consultant, a published author, and the writer of a free daily blog, the Vibrational Astrology Diary.
As an ancient mathematician, Pythagoras' music of the spheres about vibrating stars and planets, the electrical engineer Nikola Tesla said,
If you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
So, hello, Linda.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah, and Rob. Well, wonderful. The solstice begins. I'll have a short slide presentation, folks, and then Linda will come on with hers, just to give you a little idea about who we are and what we're doing. Summer solstice, 0 degrees Cancer. The sun has ingress, the longest day, shortest night. And of course, it celebrates that awakening and renewal. Light, you could say, is the name of the game. And we love the night, nothing better or worse. It's just the energies happening at that time. And of course, it means renewal. It's that portal of happening. Astronomically, the tilt of this Earth is pointing on the Northern Hemisphere closer to the sun. So it's getting that intensity. And because solstice means sun standing still, it seems to pause for 3 days overhead at the Tropic of Cancer, which is above the equator at 23 degrees, 26, almost 27 minutes. What is vibrational astrology? Called often VA, is a little acronym. It's frequency vibrations patterns, just like Tesla, Einstein, and others have said. It needs 3 planets to really present energetic circuits, as they're called. There's many dynamics that it becomes simple and then complex, just like everything in life. And it is evidence-based. And I say that rather not to get people that are new to it too confused. You can find out a lot about this cosmic fractal coming up for a couple of days online. I'm going to keep mentioning it, and I hope I've got the name right. Linda's laughing here. No, it's fractal. Linda, what's the name again?
Fractal Cosmos.
Fractal. I think to myself, it's Cosmos and it's fractal. Yes. And it will be on that weekend. And there's one for beginners, there's one for advanced. So all these terms, you can get a little more clear about it. But it's a powerful energy. There is software. It was started by David Cochran, and Linda and he are still working fervently in many dynamics about it. If for those newbies, essentially go back to this slide. You can find out what, in a nutshell, the research with thousands of people have discovered. Because the sun and moon is about time, present and past. In a nutshell, makes sense. Okay, just to review again, there is good reason about vibrations, because Nikola Tesla, a futuristic electrical engineer, said to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. It all relates. Rick Levine also has been talking about this forever recently. So thank you very much. I'm going to pause here and let Linda bring up what we've been waiting for. What's the summer telling us?
Okay, is that mine there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. So the summer solstice. You know, summer's the longest day of the year, and after the days slowly get shorter and the nights get longer. For our friends in the South, it's the shortest day of the year. Winter's coming, and the days will slowly get longer. But what's common to all of it, it's a point of high energy, which brings a reversal in our experience of the world around us. Okay, so both the summer solstice and the winter solstice are that. So it's a time of change. We reevaluate our allegiances and may find that we no longer resonate with our old allegiances. We must shift to what is right for us now. This is not, I don't usually mention this, but the symbol for the sun at the summer solstice, the Sabian symbol, is a furled and an unfurled flag displayed from a vessel, which is about developing a deeper understanding of who you are and choosing a place where you can just play, relax and be yourself. And so the summer is about evaluating, am I hooked into the things that really represent me? Or is there a way I need to shift? Okay, so here's the chart. And the time, I finally figured out the Hawaiian time is wrong. It should be 4:42 p.m., I think. Is that right, Sue?
It would be, because in the summer it's 3 hours earlier than the West Coast. Yep.
Yeah. So 7 minus 3 is 4. So it's 4:42 p.m. and I made a mistake on here.
That's okay.
But it's only on this slide, so you don't have to keep looking at it. Okay. Now, this is the natal chart, folks. And they aren't always this expressive, but this one is amazing. Do you see this? The blue rectangles are at the two ends of a bunch of red little lines going back and forth. That's the base of this great big rectangle here. And those red lines are squares. And we've got Sun, Jupiter square, Saturn, Neptune. And the best way I could put that, we're going to go through this whole thing because this is quincunx. It's just, this is a super volatile, super strong pattern here that we have to look at.
There seems to be just a sense of agitation under the surface with all of this. It's really fueled by a lot of that quincunx energy that you were talking about. Look, I mean, especially look at Pluto and Mars's role here. Yeah. I mean, it's extraordinarily powerful. We're talking about obsession and compulsion, and we're talking about the drive to action. I mean, that is potent, especially when it's fueling both separately and equally, planets that bring expansion, can also bring connection to the spirit world, but also that restriction. And that is really kind of the big deal here. I think expansion versus restriction, that square, and it just doesn't know what to do.
And quincunxes aren't exactly something that we have in our toolbox. It's something we're learning and discovering. So
and when we get quincunxes in transits, they seem to require that we reevaluate and adjust. That something has to shift when you get a strong quincunx focus. And that's what we're getting with this summer solstice chart. Something's got to shift. So these squares, big changes in the way we perceive and experience the world. What's a new vision that we will develop? And this square energy is reaching out, seeking new things, and it's reaching out further and further.
What do you think about the Venus in this situation? Because it's such an important midpoint in this chart. I mean,
it's not. It just looks like it is.
You don't think that the impact of that midpoint with the moon and the Uranus with their, I would see that as kind of
things are off, Rob. It looks like it's really in the middle, but it's not in the middle for most of it.
I see. Okay.
There is the pattern of Venus with the Neptune, Saturn, and the Sun, but it doesn't hit Jupiter, and it's is not in the middle for like Mars, Pluto, and
it does go with the 16 down to 8. It gets
right. I was
pretty
going
tricky.
To talk about it, and then when I looked at it more closely, I realized it just wasn't kicking in that much.
Even without those outer planet actions in this situation, though, I do think that the Venus midpoint between the Uranus and the Moon can be very, jarring, as we see with some of the vibrational
energy. It is there with the Uranus and the Moon, and it's there with, I don't remember which two, Sun, Saturn, Sun, Neptune. Anyway, it is there with the Uranus and Moon. It's just it's almost a separate pattern from the big rectangle.
Let's see what's next.
Now, to comment though on the meaning of that Venus, Uranus, Moon, this is about sudden understandings or insights into the past and the beauty of the past as it comes into the present.
Yeah. Longing for the past in almost a way, like getting hit with that need for the for maybe a little bit of nostalgia to a past
familiarity.
But see, it's not Neptune. It's not fully nostalgic. It's Uranus.
Yeah.
So it's sudden attunement into it, and then you're off on something else.
Yeah, because now it doesn't relate to the past, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what do we do now?
It's like balancing them out, kind of. So let's go on to the quincunxes here, which is the main thing I want to talk about. The first quincunx is Mars to Saturn, Neptune. And this is about adjusting. All the quincunxes are about adjusting something. This relates to the way we take action to bring our dreams and our visions into life. And it's like, oh, there's some problem. There's something about it that we need to evaluate. There's something we need to shift. One of the things is hinted by the structures in space mode, which I talked about at the last meeting. And it's Libra for this pattern.
Yeah.
Which means that you need to, this is going out there and acting to bring your dreams about. But it says you find a partner, work with others where you share equally in the responsibility. That'll work better. That's what it says.
Yeah, there's definitely an energy of Virgo wanting to kind of find some kind of perfection within the universe in a time when, you know, with that Saturn and Neptune, I don't know if there's perfection to be found.
Not the way you may have thought of it as.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the problem is the perfection isn't on the earth level.
Right.
Yeah, it's something, right.
It's on the universal level. Okay. Now, see, this time we're doing the two, that was the purple boxes that I just talked about. Now we're doing the green boxes, the other diagonal. This is Jupiter, quincunx, Pluto.
Oh, big change.
Which is an intense need to expand, but difficulties in doing it.
Yeah, the box isn't big enough. Just like you said, it's not, on Earth, we're trying to get to heaven. What? The cosmos.
And part of the problem with this Jupiter Pluto is hinted at by the sense pattern, which is Earth. So it's about tuning into the universal patterns and using them to guide your growth in a natural way at the speed it needs to evolve. The Jupiter Pluto wants to push, and in this particular situation, it can't push. It won't work. It's got to evolve.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jupiter in Cancer, I guess, just looking at that archetype itself, that's, you know, transiting.
Yeah.
It has its own process. Yeah.
I think we use that word evolve a lot. And we, you know, one thing to consider is that evolution is not comfortable a lot of the time. You know, it's not a process that is just, oh, okay, I'm just going to evolve and, you know, move on. It doesn't work like that.
No,
No, it's
you
not
have
mental.
to break barriers. You have to break down the things that you've been holding on to that won't work anymore.
Yes, attachments. Exactly. It's like release. It's like, what? Yeah, it's true.
Okay, we got one more quincunx, folks. That's the blue rectangles going across there. This one is Mars Pluto.
Boy.
Now it is weaker than the others, and we should be thankful it is.
Yeah.
But it's Mars Pluto. This is an intense compulsion to act. You feel like you must act, but you are blocked. You have to make adjustments in order to act. And this one is related to Leo, which says you have to be really true to yourself and operate out of your unique individual sense of things.
Yes, absolutely.
And it is, go ahead.
Well, I mean, Leo is always on that pursuit of self-actualization, and under this energy pattern, it's like you're pretty much striking out and hoping something sticks, because the energy is so wild that it's really hard to stay true to that path.
And on the other hand, the only way to really find a truth to work with is such internal, deep investigation, because perhaps that self that you've based it on isn't really going back to your earlier parts about this summer, just saying generally, is your flag furling correctly or not? What am I really
Is it
about?
on the right vessel? Have you
Yeah.
flying your flag?
Exactly.
What flag of allegiance are you flying
Internally,
on
yeah.
your vessel?
Maybe listening to patterns and things that aren't real anymore.
And you had discussed the SIS pattern being Libra earlier for that first quincunx. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not always going to be a compatible energy for Leo. You know,
I know.
Leo, that is going to be a conflict within itself.
Yeah, listening to others too. Yep.
Yeah, I decided that the best way for me to use the cis here was with the individual challenges.
It makes
that's
sense.
the way I did it. Okay, now that's the natal chart pattern, the pattern that we show in our aspects
Yes.
when we do a chart. But the natal chart has a lot of things in it we can't see. This is the essence of vibrational astrology, and we're going to talk about one of those today, right here. This is a connection. This is a connection between these planets where all of them are a fraction of the circle over 31. Let me show you on the next slide. See? 13 over 31, 10 over 31, 8 over 31, 5 over 31. We don't normally show this in the chart because we can't show all the patterns that are there. But this is a very powerful pattern in the summer solstice. 31.
It's like all of this. Go ahead.
31 is about you deciding inside of yourself the way you think the world ought to operate, the way the society ought to be structured, the pattern of all of this, and operating out of your way of viewing things.
It's so totally personal. Yes.
But the thing is, you go out there, you operate in the world based on this, and other people are operating in the world based on their idea, and it's you hope you have something in common, that your ideas have something in common. This pattern being in 31 says that this summer we are dealing with the way our world is structured.
One thing to think about with 31 as well, is because I've talked to several clients over the past few days, is there is a large sense of betrayal. And when you are acting in 31, because 31 does represent, community at a level, your 31 actions can certainly make others who you share community with feel like that they are under a sense of betrayal. And I think that is absolutely something that we're going to be dealing with.
There's a very interesting, this pattern evolves in some very interesting ways. I agree with you, Rob, it can do that. But this isn't just 31 here. We've got to go higher.
Oh yeah. We go to 4.
And just those energies, the action, the essential business, the moment of change, like it's dynamic.
Okay, now, first of all, looking at this 31 pattern, remember this is the natal chart picture of it. Here's the way it looks in 31.
Yeah, looking at that exactly.
That big conjunction there. And it is Mars, Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto. So this is in 31, which is about your unique individualistic idea about your personal internal perception of how things need to go. And then you've got Saturn Uranus there. Saturn Uranus does not accept other people's way of formulating things. It says, I'm going to figure it out my own way. It takes the things that are going on in the world and it forms them into its idea of things. It doesn't go with the way mom said it was, the way my teacher said it was, the way my professor at college said it was. It's Saturn Uranus is going to form its own way of understanding things. Now, the interesting thing about this Saturn Uranus, Mars with 31, all this individualistic stuff, the energy that makes it work is air.
Thank goodness, because I was just thinking, Linda, that in listening to you, Rob, that this betrayal really is very much maybe like a divorce of a marriage where young people, if any of us have experienced, but the point being that what you think you're aligned with as truth goes along and you're meeting all the conflicts of life really aren't on the same page. And what can heal that potentially or work it through is that communication. Get it through, connecting,
Right.
reconnecting
Well,
in
you're
new ways.
communicating with different people and figuring out who it's going to work
Yeah.
with.
Well,
But the
who connects?
air in the cis structure is not mental, like modern astrology makes it be.
Right.
Air is about connections. It's about relationship. It's about your connections with people, the world around you. And this implies that this particular 31, because of all the other things with it, and we haven't got to them all yet, that there may be an additional factor in here with the air of you thinking about the impact of your worldview on the people around you. If you're going to be effective, you have to look at how what you're doing impacts others. And I think it's about time for a break.
Yeah.
Well, it could be. Yes, we will do that. All right. We'll be right back, folks. Just a few moments. We'll see you on New Vibrations with Linda Berry and Rob Pacitti and myself. While we take a break from this week's edition of Talk Cosmos, let's take a look at this cycle's archetype. Currently, we are in the period of Cancer. By leaving a cycle based on connecting mental communication to the external, the energy of Cancer involves emotions, which create our personal story through our emotional associations and attachments. As a cardinal water sign that is nurturing, Cancer needs to process emotions in one's own internal rhythm of cycles in order to complete an evolution.
Talk Cosmos brings insightful conversations to awaken consciousness for the soul growth with hour-long programs. Talk Cosmos weekly programs are also available to watch live on the Talk Cosmos YouTube channel and Facebook page. While you're there, make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons so you get the full Talk Cosmos experience. Or if you'd rather listen to the show archives with audio only, the entire podcast collection since 2018 is available on most podcast carriers. And to find out about upcoming programs, sign up for the newsletter at talkcosmos.com. So grab your coffee, tea, or kombucha and enjoy the show.
This is Martha Norwalk. Every Sunday morning, beginning at 9 a.m., thanks in part to newprosupplements.com, we cover the world of animals. This week, June 29th, it's an encore presentation. Tune in to hear our last healing show with Dr. Nels Rasmussen and Linda Rasmussen. Together, they helped callers and their animal friends with emotional, behavioral, and physical issues, and you can receive a surrogate healing just by listening and following along with Linda's instructions. Hope you can join us, Martha Norwalk's Animal World, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. to noon, right here on Alternative Talk, AM 1150.
On the path to good health and well-being, Alternative Talk 1150 is the station for you.
Hi, everybody. We're back again. For those that are right here that can see the slide, this shows that Linda Berry's contact at the stool and Rob and myself. And this information, but Linda has a school of astrology of vibrational energetics, and January and June always begins a new class. They're in process right now, but just connect with Linda at this email and, well, it will come up and set up for the next ones. I'm sure her one starting in next December will be packed after this.
September.
Well, it'll be anyway, I'm trying to rush through. I apologize, folks, because we've got so much always to cover here. But Fractal Cosmos is going to engage many, many people that are going to probably join. Linda has a diary she sends out free every day. Just email her at Linda Astrological Depth. That's DEPTH.com. And in addition, she has a Sabian report set specific to your chart with a report. And it involves a new moon, the full moon, and special events. Linda is very generous and includes the eclipses and other major, I would imagine, yes, major things. Now, and Linda, you can add anything that I may have missed or clarify, but I know both of you want to really talk about fractal cosmos happening August 29 and 31st.
Yeah, we're super excited. We've got things really moving along at this point. We're about to release our presenters and presentations lists to go over what everybody's going to be talking about, some of the new things that are coming out, and also the importance of our beginner track. I think that for somebody who, just is getting into using, the harmonic charts and understanding the basics of VA, you're going to get a really great introduction so that you can feel confident going into the classes and starting to get into VA in a more serious way. Do you have anything to add there, Linda?
Only that we're really, really excited to share with everybody and to be able to, some of the things we're finding in research are amazing, but as Rob was saying, we want this to be beginner friendly. So for some of the tracks that the beginners might be more likely to get lost on, we've got beginning tracks that help them really understand lectures that are really about vibrational astrology, but that don't assume you know anything.
Yeah.
It's an exciting community and thrilling, really.
It's also going to be a really good opportunity to get yourself involved with the VA community because, David Cochran, who you see his name a lot, Santino, will be presenting. Linda will be presenting. Starlene, Dr. Will Morris, and then we've got some, Daya coming in. Who you've got a lot of researchers as well. This is not just. This is for everybody. This isn't just for the big personality putting on the big, the big workshop. This is going to be something where you can engage at any level and meet the people that are doing all of this research and getting in there. And I will say, as somebody who joined this community 2 years ago, it's very welcoming. And for somebody that wants to kind of get their hands dirty into an evolving form of astrology, this is where it's at. This is where you want to be.
Yes, Rob and I shared classes together, and since then we've continued in our own ways with Linda, and it truly revolutionizes the concept. Melding it in with what is a process, and that's why I keep learning. Okay, we're excited, and Rob himself has, I know, his tarot deck coming up.
Yes. I'm dealing with some 31 issues myself now with some of these tariff situations and getting my stuff into the country right now. But as soon as we do, it'll be released. We're planning on doing some big stuff with that over the next couple of months, and then doing a big thing over at UAC next year.
Excellent. Myself, I have various shows every week, and next week will be Astro Jam, which is really a fun, engaging way of astro drama. I have 8 other astrologers with me. We've been doing mystery charts, but instead we're going to do Jupiter and Uranus because it's the elephants in the room, and elephants they have a long memory. Okay. And thanks everybody for connecting with this vibrant show. And that is it. I am back to Linda.
Okay. Now, all right, let me see where we're at. I'm gonna have to go through some of this kind of quick. These patterns, these new patterns we've been finding, they are patterns that, like you can see the orange pattern that I showed you before that's sitting here. Well, it's got a blue pattern that spins off of it. Notice that they have a common line. And this is the 62 pattern. So we got 31 and then we got 62, which is 31 times 2. And so they are like it's like an evolving crystal or something blossoming. And it's got other blossoms, which is really, really, we'll get there in just a moment. The joining pair is Saturn Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
Saturn Pluto is the joining pair for these patterns, and that means we're talking about getting down to the fundamental depths of things. Okay, so here is, you can see that 62 pattern, and I show here a couple of them are 31s, but that's just because it just got rounded down. It's actually 14 over 62 and 10 over 62. So you've got 6 of these pairs of planets engaged in this pattern, all in the 62 vibration. This is in the natal chart, folks.
Mm-hmm.
The 31st vibration, 62nd vibration, the 129th vibration, all of them. They're all in the natal chart. We use vibrations to look at them, like here is that pattern in the 62nd harmonic, 62nd vibration. We use vibrations to look at them because we can see it all collected in a way we can translate it.
And it means with 62, just for those that aren't, because 31 we know is our own private view of the world, and now we're working with something else.
62 goes out and interacts with what's being encountered out there in the world, and starts shifting things around. And it ain't done there. Look at this.
This is the one that I was looking at.
This is go back here. Here's that 32 pattern, the 31 pattern off of the natal chart. This is where it's a conjunction in vibration 31. Well, so that's what we're showing here. There. See these 4 planets over here? This is that conjunction in 31. The problem is this orange set of lines here is 31s. So we're in 31, and we have this big pattern of 31s in 31, which means it's 31 times 31, or it's 31 squared.
So people looking strongly for the community, they're like-minded ones that finally see their world.
It's something or other that is, this is a big structure that's all 31 energy, and it's in the 31 vibration. So it's this higher order. And we haven't researched it yet. In vibrational astrology, we're very careful about researching things. So I'm making a guess based on my experience here. That maybe when you get 31 and you have 31 applied to it, you get a reevaluation.
Strong one.
Of your personal ideas about how society should operate. Maybe you've tried your way of making it happen and you've experienced it, and that didn't go the way I thought it would. So it's like the 31 on the 31 is, what are the ideas connected with the ideas you have connected with the world? Yeah. It just chases its tail.
Yeah. I think at the most primal level, you could ask the question, what happens when you get a bunch of 31 energy together? What if you get a bunch of 31 people together in a room? It's not going to be comfortable. You're going to have a lot of people with very different ideas, and they're going to have a community behind them. And that is a scary thought.
Well, okay. I think it's the dynamics of life, really, when I look at it, because you know what? If you look back to the United States, how did it get started? With a bunch of people, probably very much the same. They all had their ideas. But if you look back just at creation itself as the world, when you look at cells in the water, they're interjecting with all kinds of sun rays and other little plants that are evolving. It's a mess, but it produces. But it is a process of deep shifts.
So what this is showing is, we were looking here at this pattern. We've now got a blue pattern coming off of it. So this is in 31. You've again got a 31 and a 62, folks.
Mhm.
So in the natal chart, you had a 31 and a 62. But off of that 31, you've got another 31 and 62.
Which means we're working more just for the dialogue with the people that don't know the language.
Amazing shift. This has to represent a shift in how we live our lives.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's not going to be what we thought.
This is one of those moments where there was a before this period of time and an after this period of time, and
Yes,
those two are completely different things, and that's what it comes down to. It's a frequency shifting moment.
And in many ways, instead of fear, which I know you had brought up scary or whatever, but really the fact is that when you get along in life, finally it's like, what is the truth of something? What is the truth that I'm really looking at? At least then you know what you're dealing with, and you can make new considerations and new alliances, connections, everything.
So you can see the orange lines and the blue lines here. The purple that's in the middle of them, that's the planets that are in common between them. Mm-hmm. And this the one, the Saturn, the one goes all the way back, but this is it's Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter.
Yeah. And just to bring a point back, because last summer solstice in 2024, our big question was, when are Mars and Uranus going to get involved? We've seen that evolution happening over the past, a few iterations of the sun cycle. But I think we've now gotten to the point where it's like we see where this was all going from even a year ago. This is a response to the chart from a year ago, where there were so many questions. People were still wondering where things were going to go out. There was no action yet. It wasn't interruptive to the level that it is now.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Yeah. And looking at the summer ahead, just as far as transits, those outer planets are going to be retrograding, which we know is an internal sense. I mean, it's just another viewpoint to kind of add into how these things happen. And I know too that Mars and Pluto are in opposition in August, which is not the first time. So there's little stepping stones across this river of changes Yeah.
Well, the thing I think to remember here is that it's like, and we've got to get into the Sabian symbols because they say it too in another way.
Okay.
It's always interesting. But you are being challenged in this time period to look at the way you think things need to operate and to figure out whether you really think things need to operate the way you've thought they need to operate. What does it take to make it work for you and for other people? So let's look at those Sabian symbols.
Okay.
All right. The personality pattern, an old Adobe mission. Studying the patterns of the past, ancient spiritual groups, making deeper connection into a stable underlying reality at the same time that you open up to various perspectives on the truth. Learning to open up rather than dogmatically push one way of thinking about things. All right, so that's the first one. The soul, this is the one. The soul intention is one of the really unusual degrees of the zodiac, a child born of an eggshell. This is about bringing birth within yourself. And this is, I think, what this whole thing is talking about. There is a new kind of being born inside of us. It's being a rough birth, too. Mm-hmm. And this being has deeper instincts that are based on cooperation, love, and awareness, rather than status and hierarchy.
Yeah, and just to put things in context, all of this change and shifts doesn't mean everything is going to be negative.
No.
Like
No.
there's a lot of people that are now kind of getting back to the earth, studying things like herbalism, preparing for a world that is not necessarily as friendly to abundance. And those are good skills to have. And it's actually bringing a lot of people together. So, I mean, while change is rough, it's not always going to end to something that is ultimately not for your best.
No, absolutely. And it definitely is a matter of, I'm okay. I was thinking of something else, but uh, in mythology, Leda has
Mhm.
2 eggs. One that is the Gemini twins, Castor and Pollux, mortal and immortal, and then the females, Helen, that was responsible, as mythology goes, for the Trojan War, and her sister Clemesta, who nobody really talks about. So, in other words, it's these dynamics, complex dynamics. And in a sense, it is everything instinctive. That's all I was going to say is that we're working towards instinct.
Mhm.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, one more symbol, the spirit level, the spirit wisdom that underlies this. A double promise. The realm of spirit will ever present as the life of all that is with its is ever present. I said that wrong. The realm of spirit is ever present as the life of all that is with its promise to honor your free will choices. At the same time, the realm of matter is embracing you and with its promise to reflect back faithfully the patterns you carry within you. This is a balance, folks.
Mhm.
There is tune into the spirit and the free will choices. Be aware that the world around you is like a mirror
Mhm.
and it will reflect back to you what's within you.
I've looked at the Sabian symbol before, and as somebody who's definitely a non-dualist, it's very interesting to interpret it from that standpoint as well. This is the kind of the sacred union of the universe, um, and being in that mix of where matter meets spirit is a very creative place for you to evolve from.
Mhm.
It's my North Node.
Oh, it's a good place to be.
I mean, I have 24
If you're in
being
24, that's the symbol 25. The
exactly.
symbol is for
Yep.
the
No,
degree that
the
the
following one. Yep.
25th symbol is 24 of Aries, as you can see when I have the exact
No,
position.
and that's what I'm saying is that
Yeah,
this is exactly my North Node.
yeah. So, okay, I'm not. I'm going to put this up here so people can read it when they want to, if they go back to it. This is concentrating the opportunity part of the symbols. This is concentrating the pitfall part of the symbols. And I hope it all shows there. Um, Thank you for being with us this day. May the summer bring the growth that will let you develop new fruit within your life.
Oh boy, Linda, you really presented this time so clearly the
Mhm.
need to shift. And then listening to Rob and you, the dialogue here with all of us, releasing our attachments and going with this new connections with which it includes the spiritual realm besides our ideas and the people and the whole schmoz.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and going back to what we were talking about with that original word, kind of betrayal. I mean, if you may be making a shift where we're viewed as betraying, an ethos that you had or a thing that you
Yeah.
followed, but you are, part of that process is, that egg is a really good example. Like, you're going to be able to reform yourself, connect to the energy where matter and spirit merge and evolve into something new. And I think that that's going to be a powerful theme because, listen, things are not stable right now. I mean, and what do you want to do with that? Do you want to be on this side of it, or do you want to be somebody who's going to be able to take something from it and use that energy to evolve into the next betterment of yourself? She also talked a lot about Libra, that Libra SIS pattern versus that Leo SIS pattern. You're going to go on your own way, on your own path of self-actualization, but you're not going to be able to do this by yourself. This is going to be something where you're going to have to rely on others. We're going to have to expand our consciousness and be receptive to that energy as well. It is a universal thing that we're going to have to connect to release ourselves. We are not going to be able to kind of just move through this in solely a mundane pattern.
Right. I like
it.
I like how you say it.
Yeah, it's just, this is something we're going to have to release spirit from, evolve, be ready to be born anew. And, I think that we all have these nascent patterns within us that we've always wanted to unlock. And because we were in, a very stable situation, it's sometimes easy to stay in those patterns. The comfort can be a nice blanket, but it also kind of compresses you. You're going to have the opportunity now to kind of release a lot of the external pressures, the external judgments that you felt, and evolve now next into the next iteration of yourself. I saw, did we see some fractal patterns there as well, Linda?
That's what those were.
Yeah, they were all fractal patterns.
The 31 patterns. The others, the ones in the natal chart weren't. But when we got into the 31 and the 62s, that was all fractal.
Yeah.
I just it was too much terminology. This is, and there's something else that happened as I was preparing for this presentation. When you get cis patterns that lay out things with 3 planets and with 4 planets. Mm-hmm. When you get to 5 planet patterns, they become 0 every time.
Oh, it's like all 5 elements.
Because when you have 5 or more planets combined in a pattern, it becomes it like whispers of the universe.
That reminds me a little bit of the Chinese idea of elements that has 5.
Yeah,
and 5 the wheel elements. Goes, it's like like 0 is not just void, it's containing everything. It's like the egg of birth. It's the whole, et cetera, et cetera.
And I was looking at that when I got to those 5 planet patterns. That's why I didn't continue the cis, is because they're all 0.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means, I have tried to sense this within me. We don't have any way of researching it, but I have tried to sense it within me, and I think it means they kind of open a door into some kind of universal level of energy.
New portal.
Well, yeah. I mean, from a nature spirituality standpoint, there's the concept of the void, and then we have this concept called
ether.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have the Awin and then Nuivre. The Awin is the universal creative force, and Nuivre is the life force. And things exist in the void until that Awin meets that Nuivre, and then something new is born. It's at a universal level. It didn't have the opportunity to exist before that moment. And I think that when we're talking about 0 on a combined spiritual level, that's what we're talking about. Things that were not possible will now be possible. Yeah. This is a time, we talked a little bit about the timeline, and this is going to be kind of a time period where there was a before and then there's an after this moment. And the things that we're going to be able to do, I mean, would not have been possible even a few months ago.
There's stories that go along with this. Do you think way back there was Jonathan Livingston Seagull about a little seagull that gets up and sees everything? But the point being, and not every, but stepping away from that, it is really when we introduce spirit into the general cosmos of our thinking and experiencing, it's another dimension that thankfully sees the bigger spectrum.
Whatever it means. And remember, it's time to crack your eggshell.
Woo! Yes, omelet scramble of some kind.
Not an omelet.
Maybe a smoothie.
Beautiful new bird.
Yes.
Yeah, a whole new bird. Okay, we're flying now. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Linda Berry. Thank you, Rob Pacitti. And thank you, everybody. And the summer, we're in it together one way or the other. Let's find our connections and with ourselves. Yes, deep, true.
Thank you for joining an insightful conversation on Talk Cosmos, the show where Sue Rose Minahan and her panel of guests awaken consciousness by connecting soul growth patterns with astrology's energetic cycles. Be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, to continue your journey through the roots of the cosmic pathway.